Cousins had to step in for cooler heads to prevail. Also, Markel Fultz, he said it slipped. Gutierrez, Spain, Page, Flasky, Halle Berry, let's go!
More chocolate. Yeah.
That's better than Omaha.
That was not a slip.
It's better than Omaha. Goff had the best response. That's his favorite play.
We got.
Look at these images of the field in Mexico City, set to host the biggest game of the NFL season next Monday night, Rams and Chiefs.
Looks like my floor at home.
Ongoing discussion about whether that surface can get up to playing level in the next week, or if the league would be better off moving the game back to Los Angeles, who was giving up the home game to play in Mexico, or postponing it altogether. It's been characterized the NFL is determined to play this game in Mexico City. Bill Plaschke, I'll start with you. You're based in Los Angeles. How important is it for this game to go off in Mexico?
Not nearly as important as player safety, Tony. That's got to be the number one priority here, and I don't see how that field can be safe. We've seen the photos of it. I don't know how they can re-sod. I know they're re-sodding it now. I don't see how they can get it in good condition in a week. They have to understand, if the NFL plays there, if they decide to play there, every case of turf toe is going to be examined. Every twisted ankle, every knee thing, everything is going to be examined for player safety. It's too risky. Move it back to L.A. The league has done this before. They've canceled a Hall of Fame game because of a bad field. They moved a stadium in San Diego in 2003, they moved the Chargers, played it in Tempe because they had stadium issues. They've done this before. Do this now. For the players' sake, they need to do it now.
Are you hearing anything from the LA Rams that they want this game back in Los Angeles?
Well, yeah, I'm sure they do. And it's a home game. It should be in L.A. It'd be the marquee game of the season in the marquee town of the season. They got to move it back.
Woody Page, join us.
Yeah, you should be talking to me about what the Rams are saying. They're here in Colorado training for this game at high altitude. So they're assuming that it's going to go on, and they're getting ready for it in that way. But that game should not be played in Mexico City. That the officials of that stadium knew it was coming, but yet they had all those concerts. They had the soccer games. It looked awful for that soccer match on Saturday. And there's no way, having covered an NFC championship game in San Francisco between Dallas and 49ers, where the turf was put in that week by George Toma. It didn't work then. It's not going to work now. You can't grow grass in that period of time any more than you grow hair in a week on somebody's
All right.
head.
We don't need to bring in anybody's hair follicles at the moment. But for the young viewers out there, Woody Page, you got to tell us who George Toma and what his nickname was.
Marquis de Sade. Every time there was a Super Bowl, he was brought in to work with Assad. Every time there was a Pro Bowl in Hawaii, he'd go out there and rework.
A little bit of NFL Films history for us. How about you, Sarah Spain?
Well, Bill already covered the biggest, most important part, which is safety. But when it comes to this particular game, it's also entertainment value. This is coming in and opened with the biggest over-under in over 30 years at 64. Two of the best teams in the league. They don't want to have them injured, but they also don't want this game to end up being a muddy disaster. Now, in 2014, the Rose Bowl had to replace the field between the Rose Bowl and the BCS Championship. But that was a field on top of a field situation, and that bottom field was in a much better position than this one is right now. They're taking a completely hybrid field out and then sodding it with a completely different surface. And it's supposed to rain the next 3 days there, too. To me, this feels like if you have the Rams home stadium open, which is always what they do with international games, then you should use it if there's any doubt whatsoever.
And Israel Gutierrez.
Yeah, I feel like if there's any doubt, like Sarah said, you should replace this. It's great to have the game shared with our neighbor country here. That's amazing. But this game has taken on a different element here. It is not only the best game of the year, it's one of the best games since the merger. Since 1970, there's only been 5 2-1-loss teams meeting this late in the season. You want to show, it would be a perfect storm if we get a great show between these two teams and we get to share it with Mexico City. But if the turf or grass is not up to snuff, then you're not going to get the same type of explosive plays. You're not going to get the same type of football. So why are you sharing that with, Mexico City necessarily and keeping our players unsafe? Definitely try to move this back to L.A. as soon as possible if that's the case. Promise we'll make it up to you with another game, Mexico City.
Plaschke, do you want to get back in here? Please, go ahead.
Yeah, Sarah made a great point about the only comparable incident is when the Rose Bowl did change fields in 2014. They had 6 months. They planned for that for 6 months, and they worked it out, and they barely got it done. So this is trying to be planned in 6 hours. Not going to work.
Sarah?
Not going to happen.
Yeah, worth noting, though, that was 5 days. This is 9 days, so they do have more time. That was pre-planned, though. And also that this is the third game at this stadium in Mexico City. It's not the first. That does make a difference to me in terms of how important it is.
But NFL games do update their sod midweek. This happens in the NFL as well. Player safety is the most important thing. Did anybody check out the air quality last night in San Francisco or just outside San Francisco? There were fans wearing masks watching the game. The bulletin came in that you should not exert yourself, yet they still played a football game with the fire so close to the stadium last night. There's a lot of these decisions that come up midweek of a game, and then the game gets played, and you never hear about it again. That's what
Bring
the
it
NFL...
back to L.A.
Of course you want it back
now.
in L.A. I'm sure the Rams want it back in L.A. It's an important game. We'll move on. Let's talk about that game last night between the 49ers and the Giants. Giants won 27-23. Eli had his 31st career comeback, regular season and postseason, but it probably doesn't crack the top 30, seeing as it pulled them 5 games within 500. Odell Beckham left this game happy, so I think we can all be happy on that level, Sarah Spade. How do you think Giants fans feel today?
They should feel differently depending on what their end goal is. If they want Eli to experience a couple more wins and go out a little bit in style after all he's done for the franchise, then they're hoping he sticks around for a couple more games and plays the way he did, pulling off comebacks like they did yesterday for the win. If they want to get a better draft pick, then they're wondering why so much effort is being put into trying to win games now instead of look at the successor to Eli. If they want to see what Kyle Aletta can do, then they're wondering why a win like this in a season that started out 1-7 is more important than getting a look at what's next. To me, the most important thing I can say about this, at the very least, is it's never too late to get the right attitude, and to see OBJ after the game saying something like, we just got to win the next 7. This is my guy, Eli, doing the right things. It's never too late to figure out how to do right by your quarterback and your team, and he's doing it. Now they just need everyone else to lose every other game if they win.
Okay, so to wrap it all up in a bow for us, Israel Gutierrez, what did you see from the Giants last night?
Well, philosophically speaking, fans and players are always going to be at odds in this situation. The players are always in the present. They want to compete. And as OBJ says, there is a possibility. They can run the table. They're going to hold on to that hope, and they're going to play as hard as they possibly can. And even if there isn't reason to play, they're going to be competitive. Why? What are we tanking for? I mean, if you're going to tell me that we're tanking for some surefire quarterback, then maybe. But look at the landscape. Is there one? You're going to tell me that we messed up on Sam Darnold? I don't know. Doesn't look so great right now. Saquon Barkley looks pretty good. So as players, there's just no chance for that. In terms of Eli, it's just sad that when you get a player at this position, you can't just sort of fall off gracefully. You're going to either hit a wall, or if you're losing, players and teammates and fans are going to roast you. And so you pretty much have to just feel sorry for the guy. Hope he can have a couple moments on his way out the door.
You know, I just know John fans are watching that game saying, no, 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 during that fourth quarter comeback, no. Because, again, I don't think at this point they just need to move on. Again, Eli had a great comeback. It's only his first fourth quarter comeback in like 3 years. He's only had 2 game-winning drives at the end of the last 2 years. He's just not the guy anymore. And he missed, you know, I know OBJ was going really happy about him after the game. He missed him on a streak pattern that could have won the game a lot earlier. I just think that this win for the Giants was more like eyewash. It was not the thing that's going to move them in any direction. They still need to move on from the quarterback.
I love when Louisville sneaks into the show a little bit, Bill Plaschke. How about you, Woody Page?
Well, it's so sad to see a Johnny Unitas or Joe Namath in their careers, but at least they didn't do it for the teams that they really played for most of their careers. I think watching him on the sideline for the rest of the season would be really sad for everybody. So go ahead and play. There's been, Israel, no team that's ever run the table from 2-7 that made the playoffs. That's just not happened. 3-6 maybe, but not 2-7. So that's not going to make any difference. Playing 4 or 5 more games, see what happens. They've got a game coming up at home against Tampa Bay they can win, but I don't think they're going to go to Philadelphia and some of these other games they got to play on the road against division teams and really do anything. So just play, make that offensive line get better and better as it was last night.
We've been on, we'll move on. Clippers 121, Warriors 116 in overtime. Does anybody care about the loss from Golden State's perspective? No. Or the win from Los Angeles' perspective? Plaschke? No. So let's talk about Durant and Green being separated by teammates, being separated by Boogie Cousins. If Boogie's the guy who's like, guys, you might be in the wrong. Team spirit is what Sean Livingston called it. Said it was good to see some fire. But reportedly, the fire continued in the locker room at high volume even after the game. Israel, good to see some fire. Smells like some team spirit here, or is there something to monitor?
No, I think it's something to monitor. Anything with sort of emotions that comes out of Kevin Durant is always worth something. He's either a guy who's ridiculously confident and wants to constantly show everybody what his value is, or, and this is the more likely situation, there's some level of insecurity there where he's just constantly saying, hey, what about me, right? And so you've got no Steph Curry there. And if you're not giving him the ball, he's got to be saying, well, what'd you bring me here for? And so, you know, if Draymond Green wants to do that, and if other teammates, has been reported now, have backed Kevin Durant in this locker room discussion as it continued, then Draymond was in the wrong here. It could just end as simply as that. But when you have Kevin Durant going as a free agent probably next offseason, everything becomes bigger.
Bill Plaschke, I know it's going to be hard for you not to see this from the Clippers' perspective, but please, indulge us here just for a second.
Big win for the Clippers, Tony. Glad you brought that up. Big win for the Clippers. No, but Izzy, I can't believe it sounds like you're blaming Durant for some of this. He was just trying to win the game. Draymond totally screwed up that play, should have thrown to Durant, and afterward, I thought the emotion was good. These guys keep each other honest. Draymond is kind of the heartbeat of the team. He's their passion. He wears his emotions on his sleeves. Durant then fights back to him. I think it's good that they still care so much in November about winning the game and messing up. I think it's all positive.
Woody Page?
Bill, you should go out to a game. They've won 2 in a row, the Clippers have. But in regard to this, I've seen, and you guys have too, Draymond Green go from coast to coast, and actually everybody gets out of the way when he starts steamrolling down the court. However, when you got a guy on your team that has made 5 game-winning shots at the buzzer, you get the ball to him. He is your best shooter next to Curry and Thompson, and he's on the floor. And I can understand why Durant was upset, but let's look at this in far-ranging. They have beefs like this on a regular basis between players.
So nothing to see here. Okay. Sarah Spain, how about you?
Yeah.
I absolutely love it because we know that this is who Draymond is. He's an agitator. He's a button pusher, whether with his own coach and his teammates or others. As long as it's controlled enough to not result in what we saw in the finals a couple years ago, this is a good thing because this team is cruising all year long, every year to another championship. We need to know that they care in games in November. We need to know that there's actual passion there. We're hearing from the Phoenix Suns that none of them feel comfortable pushing each other. That's a problem. This team is comfortable pushing each other, and it results in wins.
Israel and Plaschke real quick after the horn. Go ahead.
Yeah, Bill, not blaming Kevin Durant at all. In fact, I'm saying, Draymond Green, know your teammates there. You were the one who recruited him. Well, give him his moment. Let him win that game.
Tony, seriously, the Clippers have a great foundation for some free agents.
Yes, I know. I understand that.
Clippers are playing great. Okay.
They're
currently
a playoff team, I believe, if I looked at the standings correctly. And so are the Sacramento Kings. Sarah Spain, you said button pusher like that's a bad thing? A button pusher like it's a bad thing?
No, I said it like a good thing.
Okay.
I said it's a good thing.
Let's take a walk. Let's look at Sarah Spain, who's broken glass right now. Yes. Tight game going into buy or sell on the other side. Stick around. Plaschke 7, Page 8, Spain 8, Gutierrez 6, buy or sell 1. Quick, somebody asked Nick Saban if he's going to sit Tua Saturday versus the Citadel.
No.
You going to sit Tua?
No, why would we do that? And I'm not really interested in any of your suggestions about how we should manage our team and what we should do to try to get better, regardless of what you think, just because we're playing the Citadel.
Bill, buy or sell Saban's approach here?
I love it. I love the Argyle sweater, and I love the approach. Yeah, that's why that's their culture. Every game's important. They have to start them. They're probably going to play them a quarter, but they have to start them to let everyone know every game matters. There's no tragedy.
Woody Page?
Let me help you out, Nick. You should be interested in my opinion. You got Nick Jones there. He's played in 5 games. He's a guy getting more reps. You got 2 quarterbacks that are hurt. You're playing Citadel, which is not in the same division as you are in college football. So I think you start the young.
Sarah Spain?
Yeah, I think part of that decision is that they've got Mac Jones, their third-string guy, and they would rather have Tua go in and get a comfortable lead and pull him early to prove not only that every game matters, but also because the Citadel's not going to get to Tua. He was sacked 4 times against Mississippi State and re-aggravated that injury because they've got one of the best D-lines in the game. It's not going to happen against
Gutierrez.
Yeah, it's disrespectful to other players if you sit Tua and not them because, they can get hurt too. And like Sarah said, you could literally have them not touch Tua, and that would be and that would absolutely work.
Why be disrespectful to other players when you could be disrespectful to you people? We move on. Buy or sell 2. Markelle Fultz, quote, "It slipped." Do you believe him? And regardless, Woody Page, I'll start with you. Have you ever seen a basketball player go through the yips like you've seen golfers and baseball players before?
Yeah, it looks like Charles Barkley's golf swing, really. But George McGinnis, when he played in the ABA, he had the same kind of problems. He couldn't shoot free throws, and the guy averaged 25 to 30 points a game. He got past it, though, and I think Fultz, if he continues to work on it, can get over the psychological problems he's having, I think, in shooting at any place on the court.
Sarah Spain?
I'm not buying it's a slip. When something slips, it changes position in your hands. That stayed the same and just moved up and down like a yip, which it is. The only thing that's going to be slippiness is minutes when Jimmy Butler arrives and they don't have as much time to put into his
That's a completely different thing, right? I mean, if you're saying it's yips, well, that would be something that is a delicate matter, and Jimmy Butler comes in like a sledgehammer. Israel Gutierrez, you want to address that?
Yeah, I mean, that slip looked a lot like the videos of him shooting jumpers last year. It's more of a regression than it is a slip there. And I think if you look at him while he's on the free throw line, just his eyes, he's not looking at the rim at all. He just looks nervous there. And you bring in Jimmy Butler and put more pressure on this team to succeed and Markelle to succeed. Man, that might not end well.
Not even just pressure to succeed. It's the actual pressure of Jimmy Butler and what he does to young players. Bill Plaschke, how about you?
No, I think just the opposite. I mean, it's clearly the yips. I think Butler's good for him. Butler's going to allow him maybe to fade into the background a little bit, not be the focus of everything. We saw it out here with Lonzo Ball. With the minute they got LeBron, everybody kind of forgot about Lonzo.
Good point, Bill.
Fultz kind of needs no attention right now.
We'll move on. Buy or sell 3, MLB Rookies of the Year. The vote wasn't as close in either league as some thought it could be. Acuna Jr. over Soto and Ohtani over the Yankees, Andujar and Torres. Ohtani played 104 games, at least batting, and pitched 10 games. Some wondering if that's enough games for your Rookie of the Year. Sarah, buy or sell the Ohtani pick?
Wondering why people aren't saying the same about Acuna Jr., who only played 111. That 7 games difference isn't that big of a deal to me. I think we focus more on Ohtani because his injury was so noteworthy. He absolutely earned it. Back in 1919, Babe Ruth pitched 50 innings and hit at least 20 homers in a season. That's the last time somebody did it before Ohtani did it this year. He deserves it.
Gutierrez.
Yeah, those 10 starts seem to add a little bit more value when you think about it, right? Because as starting pitchers, you can win MVP and only, play in 35 games and stuff like that. So I do think that Ohtani absolutely deserved it. I don't think there's much beef there.
Plaschke.
When you're a rookie and the only player you're comparable to is, like Sarah said, Babe Ruth, case closed. He has to win Rookie of the Year.
Okay, case closed. Paige.
Yeah, so I'll make 7 points here, but let me start with this one. Bill, if I was out there, I would go see him every game. In spring training, I couldn't wait to see him. In the regular season, you think you've got a star like that in budding, he'll be around for 15 years. Point number 2, let it go. Okay.
you want to watch this showdown between Plaschke and Spain? Well, I can respect that. All right. Woody Page.
I want to watch
Israel Gutierrez going the wrong way. Bill Plaschke and Sarah Spain in showdown. And what will the button pusher do? That's the question, Sarah Spain.
Don't forget, he called you a button pusher.
I think that's a compliment. I consider that a compliment.
Oh, now it's a compliment.
Games to watch in showdown. It's Bill Plaschke and Sarah Spain. That's it. That's the list. Good luck. Showdown 1, $100 for the month-long In the Building pass. You have no view of the court. This is what the Warriors are doing, Bill. Ingenuity or shakedown?
A shakedown, absolutely. They're just trying to sell more beer, sell more concessions, get him in there. And then what's going to happen when they want to go see the game? They're going to overrun the ushers. They're going to be trading with ticket stubs. It'll be a nightmare.
This is clearly ingenuity. It's like a Nickelback album. If someone's going to pay for it, you put it out there and let them pay for it. And some people can't afford to pay the high price to get in and watch the game. Maybe they'd rather at least feel like they're in the building and a part of it for a little less money.
You brought up Nickelback and Plash. He's like, how dare you? I've got their greatest hits on my phone.
No, I don't know who Nickelback is.
Look at this photograph.
We'll move on. Showdown 2 for the ball game here. It's going to be a 2-point answer. The handles on the kid at the Raptors game versus the aerials on the kid from the Dominican Republic. Who you got, Sarah?
I absolutely have baseball kid who is creating his own new Jordan symbol. I want that frog-legged flying kid to become the symbol of all baseball teams in Dominican.
Was that kid safe or out, Sarah? We don't know. The video didn't last as long. We can't tell if he's safe or out. The other kid, we know he made the bucket. We know he sank the bucket. I go with the basketball kid. We don't know if he's safe or out. The umpire never made a call. We never saw it.
I think the umpire was
I'm right,
calling
Tony,
safe.
you know I'm right.
I know the video cut, but I think the umpire was saying safe, and I think I'm saying we're safe in electing Sarah Spain our leader for this FaceTime today. 30 seconds, Sarah Spain.
Thank you. There was a recent controversy at Rowan University in New Jersey when the girls on the cross-country team were banned from wearing sports bras to practice in because they were told it was distracting to male athletes, even though there's no specific dress code for them. There was a claim that there was a long-standing verbal dress code that everyone should know. This is policing of women's and girls' bodies that goes on at schools. It goes. When I was at Cornell University, the same thing happened. I had to start a petition. We were told the track athletes were distracting the football players in the weight room. We are not made to distract or for your pleasure. We are doing our own thing, and let us do it and stop stepping in.
Well done, Sarah.
Well done.
You know, Brandy Chastain should make a trip out to Rowan. That's it, folks. We'll see you tomorrow around the horn.